It looks like it's going to be a long road to recovery in the wake of Cyclone Gabrielle. This morning, Neil Waka spoke to Prime Minister Chris Hipkins and asked what his message was to those communities most affected.
My message, first of all, is, the whole country stands with you and we stand behind you and we acknowledge the significant scale of this event. And we also just thank communities for the way they've rallied around and supported each other through what has been undoubtedly an incredibly challenging time. So I just want to acknowledge that up front. We will get through this and we will support people who are going through this. The response is going to have a lot of different phases. Right now, we're really focused on just dealing with the immediate issues right in front of us. But we're going to support people through the rebuild so that we can build back better and we can build back more resilient and we can be better prepared for these sorts of things in the future.
Prime Minister, you've said it's too early to rule out the compulsory purchase of homes devastated by the cyclone. Love the idea. We all have to obviously embrace this type of idea, especially for those suffering. But how do we do this when our national debt increased by more than $92 billion and likely a lot more now since before COVID to 2021? Where does the money come from?
But it's important to remember that it's not just the government that contributes to this as well. So if you look at the post-Christchurch earthquake, government had to really chip in there. But a lot of money came from insurance settlements, a lot of money came from business and from industry, from individual households. So we will get through this, and the government will play its part.
And how do we ensure that Kiwis who might have already been struggling prior to this don't end up much worse off due to this increasing national debt and rising inflation?
Look, inflation is a big challenge, and we know that there's the potential for the rebuild to add to that inflationary pressure. If you look at the areas where we're experiencing the biggest increase in costs, it's around building and construction materials, and it's around food. And both of those things will be affected by these recent events. So we know that we've seen a lot of our food supply potentially damaged. We won't know the true extent of that. The images that we see, and I've been on the ground and visited, the images we see give us one part of the story. But if you take apples, for example, the Minister of Finance went up there on Sunday and visited two orchardists, one who had lost everything and the other one who was going to be harvesting this week, and was almost business as usual. So we're going to have to just work through that carefully. But it's clearly, it has the potential to have an impact on inflation and on the costs that we pay when we go to the supermarket and so on.
Beautiful, lovely, nice to hear. Prime Minister of New Zealand, Chris Hipkins, thank you so much for joining us today. Ngā mihi ki a koe.
Thanks, Neil. Great to talk to you.